Yeah, Canada. Canada about to get busy. Well, hey, get your passports ready. Hope you got your passports. Speaking of, I need to get my passport for real for the Slop Olympics. I'm leaving the country too, but I'm coming back. I'm only going to be gone for 3 days. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sick person. I've got so much entertainment out of the meltdown on X and MSNBC and everything else. It's way more entertaining than the actual election was. Way more. In other news, I'm an electrician now. By trade. Well, not yet. Well, I will be this afternoon. Has anybody ever swapped out a breaker in your breaker box before? That's what I had to do, apparently. I was actually going to start the show at 9 o'clock this morning, and as soon as I sat down at my computer, the internet went out. And I'm like, what's going on? So I go down to the living room where the router is, and the router's off. So I start flipping light switches in the room. No power in the living room. I'm like, what? So I go out to the breaker box, and everything seems fine at the breaker box. Nothing's tripped. So I'm like, what's going on here? I have no idea. Luckily, I have a friend who's an electrician. So I called him. And he told me it's probably a bad breaker. And he told me I went to Home Depot and got whatever he told me to get. So later this afternoon, he's going to walk me through how to change it. I think it's just a matter of unscrewing it and the wire and putting a new wire in there. I don't know. I've never done it. I need Hufferbilly Paul to come on the show today. He needs to celebrate. You guys know Paul's been down bad lately. So congratulations to him and everybody else who voted yesterday, I guess. But yeah, need to hear from Paul. I don't know. I hope Volusia shows up. Obviously, I'm 30 minutes early starting the show, so some people, won't even check until 11 o'clock if I'm on or not. He's probably one of them. Yeah, I bet Paul hadn't partied that hard since he was in college. Boy, that was an ass whooping there. That was an ass whooping of epic proportions. Do you know how bad of a candidate you have to be for a Republican to win the popular vote? For a Republican to win Miami-Dade County? For a Republican to win, what, like 5 out of the 7 swing states or whatever it was? Holy shit. Well, they screwed that election up royally. Royally. Turns out nobody likes Kamala Harris. In order for him to win the popular vote, there has to be a massive amount of Democrats that voted Republican. That's the only way that can happen. So it begs the question, why would Democrats vote for Donald Trump? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they don't like Kamala Harris. They never voted for her in the first place. She got drug up and down the stage by Tulsi Gabbard. She lost a presidential primary to Nikki Haley, who's also nobody likes. And they thought that she was going to beat Donald Trump? Boy, they're fucking stupid. They are dumb. 5-star dummies. Five-star dummies. Let me turn this music off. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm sitting here opening up on my presents. It's Christmas morning.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Dow's up to 43, up to 1383 as of today. Could soar even higher.
Probably will. I mean, now look, I'll admit, I forecasted that he would win the election. I didn't see it. I didn't think he would win that big, though. No way.
Well, a lot of people, all the polls said, it's going to be a tight race, and it's just going to be narrow. It's going to be narrow this, narrow that. Where the Democrats are saying that Kamala was going to sweep all 7 of the battleground states. And she didn't sweep anything. I mean,
no, she was a disaster of a candidate. Nobody liked her.
Absolutely. That's you know what? I heard Kevin Leary, Mr. Wonderful, say this last night. This may be a big lesson for the Democratic Party to do a total reset and come back and get a little bit more centrist in their policies and politics, and look at what happened. Get away from the wokeness that the party has become, because the party doesn't belong. I mean, the party does not represent all of the American people. That's why Trump won by the damn popular vote, too, as well.
Yeah, so I said there's no way. The only way he could win as big as he did is if a lot of Democrats voted for Trump. And so they have to ask themselves why that happened.
Well, they predicted that he was going to get 25% of the black male American vote, and he certainly did. And he got the Latino vote. I mean, you just said it earlier, Pete. He got Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, first time since 1988 that Republicans won Miami-Dade.
Right. Yeah. And I think by all circumstance, once all that comes in, that I think he won the African American vote higher since 1960 when Nixon won the African American vote. So, and then going back to, as far as the comeback goes, you have to go back to the 1800s for a comeback that Trump has made here.
I'll tell you what.
Slim Shady, what say you?
Well, somebody did call a big landslide like this, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it you?
And that was this guy right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We hear that every election. Both sides do it.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
So, but I needed to see it to believe it. Now, I did think he would win, but I thought it would be close, and it wasn't. I mean, it was.
I think the vote is. I think it's at 73 million that he won by. Kamala got 64 million. What's surprising is what the hell happened to the 10+ million votes that were there in 2020 for the Democratic Party.
Well, that's the other thing. A lot of them didn't like her, so they just didn't go vote.
Yeah. Well,
and I completely believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. What they said in the suburban market, like Philadelphia, that the turnout of the urban vote was not coming out. You know, it was low, and she didn't outdo Biden in any of the states.
No.
She didn't outperform Biden anywhere.
Well, we all knew this was going to happen. So this is the part that I thought fascinating. Everybody sees
Billy Paul, I didn't necessarily know it was going to happen. I was hoping that it was going to happen.
Well, the hope
I was
is not
afraid.
strategy, brother.
I was well. I know that, but I'll tell you something. My scare was the Democrats are going to try to cheat again. They were going to try to cheat.
Oh yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, the fact that he did it so overwhelmingly took away their little candy ball, so they can't cheat now.
Well, and here's my thing: what are they going to cry about this time? Because in 2016, and they're kind of trying to start it again already. You know, all they complained about was the Electoral College because Hillary won the popular vote, but Kamala didn't even win the popular vote.
Right.
Yeah. Dang, big dang.
And they're still trying to they're still trying to say get rid of the Electoral College, but guess what? That wouldn't have prevented the outcome of this election.
But I'll tell you what, here's how they really screwed up. They lost the House and the Senate also. I mean,
yeah, they did.
Wow.
And I hope they throw Mitch McConnell out as House Majority Leader for the Senate. I mean, he's just a piece of shit. I mean, I hope that
he's stepping down, and I think he's retiring anyway.
Yeah. I think somebody like Ted Cruz would be a great House Majority Leader, and I hope that happens. But I mean, see. He had all the money for the PAC money for the Republican Party, and McConnell didn't give Cruz one red cent in his campaign against all red in Texas. That's bullshit. Where the Democratic Party threw tons of money at all red to win that seat.
Well, and I've made it no secret whatsoever. I'm not a Mitch McConnell fan.
Oh hell no! Neither am I.
God no! I mean, that son of a bitch. And look, the other guy, Lindsey Graham. Oh God, help me.
Yeah, he's maybe even a little worse.
Well, he's a rhino, and he's got sugar in his loafers.
Yeah, I didn't vote for Lindsey Graham yesterday. I never will.
No, Lindsey's the worst. Someone needs a Republican candidate needs to run against him. But he said the thing is, if you become an incumbent in the Senate or even in the House, but especially in the Senate, and you've been there for quite a while, it's hard to get someone out of that because he's got a treasure trove of money to throw at his campaign.
Yeah,
but there's a guy that could get him out of there very easily, and he was somebody that was there before, and I was a big fan of him. Trey Gowdy would wipe the floor with Lindsey Graham.
Oh my God, I love Trey Gowdy. Slim,
I was a fan of him as well.
Trey Gowdy is amazing. You know who I think is the new Trey Gowdy in the Senate is Josh Hawley.
Yeah,
he's trying.
He is that guy.
So, you guys know who Tim Dillon is, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So Tim Dillon was on the Joe Rogan show. I think the podcast came out late last night for some reason. Anyway, that's besides the point. They were talking about Lindsey Graham, and Tim Dillon went into this bit about Lindsey Graham being a closeted gay superhero or supervillain. It's fucking hilarious.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you can be,
whatever you want to be.
That's right.
Yes.
But his Lindsey Graham impression is hilarious. Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't hold that against anybody, to be honest with you. The only reason why I hate him is because he sucks at politics and his stances on policy.
Well, again, he's a rhino. I mean,
he's a total piece of shit.
Very much a big rhino.
If it were up to this guy, we'd be at war with 5 different countries right now.
That's exactly right. He's a warmonger. He's a war hog too.
He's a chicken hog.
You heard what Netanyahu said. Netanyahu is really happy that Trump is now the president because he knows that, 1, he will get whatever he needs to win the war over there, and 2, he will back him up, and 3, Trump will stop all these damn wars that are going on around the world.
Well, he'll stop them, or here's the way.
We'll see. I'm hoping so, but he'll try.
here's the way Trump's going to work this. He's going to tell you, don't do it. And he will mean it when he says it. Okay. I mean, he's not going to do a veiled threat. He won't say it and not do it. And then the next thing they do, if they want to tempt fate, he'll make an example of them.
So I haven't watched any news or anything this morning because I've been running around trying to fix my electricity. But has she conceded the election yet?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh man.
No, she has not. And she had thousands of people waiting for her to come out last night. And they just kind of all, finally, when they saw that that Trump had won or projected winner, they all started meandering out.
So what they were saying was going to happen when Trump lost is happening with her.
Color me surprised.
Man.
It's as if the last Democrat that lost did the same thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Hillary did. Yeah. Hillary did. She's pulling a Hillary, because Hillary didn't come out either. And she didn't concede till I think the next day or even the day after. And she's supposed to, Kamala's supposed to be doing some speech at Howard University today, and possibly she might concede there, but who knows?
Oh, good to know that she is definitely fixing to pull the Hillary and go on like a 4-year excuse tour on why she lost.
It's good to know that Coward is colorblind.
Kamala's probably still drunk from last night. She's not speaking anywhere today.
Well, I'm still drunk from last night.
That's believable.
If those cackling hens can get up there and do the View today, which I've got set to record because that meltdown's going to be biblical proportions.
It's going to be epic.
Oh, this is a great comment by Kentucky Fried, and I'm pretty sure he's definitely joking, but he says Trump created a coup on the government. Well, it turns out the actual coup was they ousted the sitting president, who was very popular by the Democrats, by the way, and installed her without a primary.
Yeah, that was an old time Soviet coup.
And then they brag when they get an endorsement by Dick Cheney, of all people.
Good Lord.
And they bring out all the stars, the Lady Gagas and the Taylor Swifts and,
who have no touch for reality at all.
And zero. No touch, because Hollywood is 20 miles surrounded by reality. That made no sense at all to bring those big stars out, thinking that, Beyonce will pull the vote. And they thought that Beyonce was going to sing in Houston. She didn't sing anything at all.
Speaking of big stars, how many of them are actually going to follow through on their threat this time of leaving the country?
Dear God, De Niro leave, okay? Whoopi leave.
Yeah, Kentucky Fried, maybe they should change the way that they do things then, because they did this. Bernie Sanders was the most popular candidate when Trump ran the first time, but they put Hillary in instead. Now
all I'm going to do is I'm going to say that is, Pete, I hope your mother-in-law is not listening to this show.
She's probably. I think she's disowned me. So, but I don't want to talk about her on here. She's my family. So.
Well, if the Democratic Party had been smart, they would have done the 25th Amendment. Okay, they would have chosen a better candidate, opened up the Democratic convention to a better candidate. Gavin Newsom, Shapiro, any of those people would have been much better candidates.
Yes, of course.
And it might have been a tighter race by then too.
Yes,
sir. They would have won probably. To be honest, because Trump was so hated.
Well, the irony is, RFK might have had a decent chance to beat him as a Democrat.
Damn right.
But
that was the stupidest damn thing they ever did.
Yeah,
so
they ran
ostracize RFK Jr.
Yeah, they ran him off, and now he's on Trump's side. That was it. They screwed up at every single turn. Every turn, they couldn't have screwed up any worse.
Yep. Well, Tulsi Gabbard, great centrist, and turned her into a Republican.
I would have voted for her.
I would have too, probably.
Personally, I would have voted for RFK or Tulsi over Trump.
Oh. I actually did vote for her in a poll on Twitter for best looking politician in a two-piece.
Yeah, if you haven't seen her in a bikini, you're missing out.
Yeah, she's something. But no, she's pretty anyway. Her face is, she's just gorgeous. She was gifted with the pretty stick. Versus some people get the ugly stick, like Slim.
Everyone's asking where's
Don't
Volusia.
hate me because I'm beautiful.
Ukraine.
Volusia, and listen, I've been wondering about that myself. We may have to send old Bandy Dandy on some recon. He may be in a internment camp by now.
Jeez.
Well, he might be waiting until 11 o'clock to log on or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Poor old Volusia. I'm sure that he's probably distraught in his own way.
Well, there's a lot of people distraught. Have you seen the meltdown on social media? It's epic. I mean, it's epic.
God.
Now, to be fair, if Trump had lost, there would have been a meltdown from Republicans too.
I don't
So,
think so.
but
Not nearly like this. We wouldn't be crying. You don't cry. Hey, there's no crying in baseball. Come on.
it just happened to come across my
In
feed.
politics, so.
Christina, you guys know who Christina Applegate is, right? The actress.
Yeah.
Boy, she had one hell of an epic meltdown on X last night.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And I made a point of pointing out to her how stupid her and her daughter were.
She had an
They
epic
place
meltdown.
Too much emphasis in that shit. They do. It's just way too crazy. Nobody has to get pregnant unless they choose to.
She says she's deleting her X account because of Elon.
Good.
But guess what? Nobody
Yeah,
cares. These people think they're so important. No, does anybody care if Christina Applegate's not on X? No, not one single person.
Well, I heard Gutfeld say this. Kamala had all the stars, the superstars, like her superheroes came in to help her, where Trump had his kind of band of Avengers come in for him, but they came in reluctantly, like RFK Jr., like Tulsi Gabbard, like
Joe Rogan.
Elon Musk, like Joe Rogan at the very end. I mean, for God's sake.
And I don't know why anybody's surprised. Like, we've been hearing this out of people since 2015, really. Like, the Democrat Party is what has gone sideways on people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the Democratic Party of yay age. I mean, look, you can be a liberal. I could understand. I could put up with a liberal individual versus a radical left woke individual, which that's what's happened to the Democratic Party. It's gone radically left. It's gone socialist for all practical purposes.
I agree with you. I'm as liberal. Seriously, people think I'm conservative. I'm not conservative. I'm as liberal as you get, but I'm not crazy. Okay, so they jumped the shark over there in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I'm not a Republican.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I don't classify myself as a liberal either. I'm liberal on a lot of things, though.
I voted Johnson back in 2016. I voted for damn Ross Perot. I didn't vote for Bush. I didn't listen. I have my own opinions on things, but I don't think that the neocons for damn sure aren't on my list.
We talked about this last night, Slim, when I said the difference in this election is going to be the independent, which I think it represents somewhere around 7 or 8% of the country, which is a significant amount of people. And like me, I'm one of them.
Yeah, and so am I.
So that's why they lost. They lost the middle.
Well, I confess I'm a conservative, and I've been a Republican ever since I voted for Reagan. Okay, so.
Well, I like Reagan. Yeah.
Yeah, I voted for Reagan. I voted on the red ticket ever since. Even though I held my nose on a few of them, like McCain, like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, what a POS he's turned into too. I mean, wow, just go away. But yeah, there was a number of them I didn't particularly like. Even W. I wasn't too fond of W either.
Oh, I didn't vote for him the second term.
Oh, well, and I've said it before. I voted for Obama in his first term. Now, granted, that was the first election that I was old enough to vote in.
Right.
So what you're saying? What are you saying? You're young and dumb?
Well, I mean, to a big extent, because I mean, you want to talk about somebody that pulled the old switcheroo on people. I mean, Barack Obama really did a complete 180 from what he said on his campaign to how he actually governed.
He became divisive. He made the country divisive.
Yep.
I mean, he
Wow.
was the one. Race was not that big of an issue until Obama came around and made it an issue, and made everything very divisive.
And that was the biggest thing that he pulled a 180 on between his campaign and how he actually governed.
Yeah.
Nate, I wear a medium-sized
Biden
T-shirt.
did the same damn thing. Biden was supposed to be a centrist Democrat,
Nate.
and he turned into this damn way out left. He was a pawn. He was a puppet to the left. There's no doubt in my mind.
Nate, if you're thinking about sending me,
probably Obama.
if you're thinking about sending me a MAGA T-shirt, Nate, I'm not going to wear it. I'm not MAGA, okay?
Well, let me. Can we tease that out, Pete?
What?
Just for a second.
What?
What do you mean you're not MAGA? No, don't be. No, you're not Trump.
You don't have to be MAGA to vote for Trump. Does that
what I'm saying is,
surprise you?
Are you not pro U.S. first?
When I think of MAGA, I think of people that are Donald Trump fans, not fans of the country. I'm not a Donald Trump fan. I'm a fan of this country.
Yeah, it's a bigger movement than that.
Yeah.
I think Trump coined MAGA, but it's put America in the first seat. Right now, we can help the rest of the world when we figure out our own shit. That's all MAGA is. That's it. It's not any harder than that.
Let's hope Trump sets up the Republican Party for a next presidential candidate in 2028.
Yeah, because he's not here then.
Me. I'm running in 2028.
Oh, good.
Look, he was clearly the better candidate in this race.
Are you announcing your candidacy today?
I really hope that he does some of the things he says he's going to do, but I still hold out judgment on Donald Trump, just like I would on any president.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, but we'll see. I mean,
well, to the point of they took both houses of Congress. He's really got no excuse.
That's true too.
Exactly. If he goes
now, granted, that being said, we'll see. We'll also see how it goes because in the beginning of his first term, he had both houses, and you obviously had the Republicans that didn't like him that blocked things like the border wall.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think he's got more of the Republicans on his side this time. I truly do. And I think he will get shit done. I mean, look, he ran a damn fine campaign. And he ran on common sense politics. He ran on, I'm going to fix the economy. I'm going to make us energy independent. Look, I'm going to cut on taxes. No taxes on tips. No taxes on Social Security. No taxes on overtime. And even, I think he even talked about no taxes for first responders.
Well, he admitted that he wants to get rid of income tax and go straight
altogether. That's why he wants to increase the tariffs, make them the tariffs.
I don't think that.
Get rid of the IRS.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Those damn 86,000 damn revenue agents they just hired under Biden.
I don't think that's going to happen. They're getting rid of the income tax thing. I mean, it's a nice talking point and everything, but
no, I know, but
I don't think
here's my thing. Here's my thing with that. It needs to, because the income tax was started during World War I and was only supposed to last for a year.
You're right,
and then it was supposed to sunset.
Yep.
I don't disagree with you that it should. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I don't know that yet, and let's just wait. But here's the thing, Pete. Your point is, I don't trust that. Well, I'm still waiting to see if he's going to do the right thing. If he goes overboard, let's just say he goes and goes vengeful on people. The Dr. Phil interview, I don't know if y'all watched it with Trump, was Trump said, "You'll be proud of me. I'm not."
Yeah, he should not do what they try to do to him.
Said, "I'm not going there. It won't be good for the country."
Yeah, that would be a bad look. I don't think he should do that.
And I don't think he will, because compare this campaign to the last one. He's calmer, a little more reserved, a little more in control of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's finally matured at 80?
Well, you know what's interesting is when he did the Rogan interview, which we'll talk about, that was another massive failure by Kamala Harris to not go on Rogan. Because she could have probably changed at least some people's minds. I don't know if it would have changed the difference in the election, but she still screwed up there. But anyway, going back to Trump's interview on Rogan, Rogan asked him. He said, "What do you regret? What did you do wrong in your first presidency?" And he said, look, I didn't know what I was doing. I on my first day in there, I had to hire like 200 people. I don't know any of them. I'm taking advice from people I shouldn't take advice from. I made a bunch of bad choices. So now he has that experience under his belt, so he hopefully can make better decisions on who he's installing in these positions.
He's going to. He'll make a fine cabinet. I'm so glad that Mayorkas, Pierre, Blinken, Kirby, and all these other damn mob cronies will beat the fuck out of there. Especially Mayorkas. That guy should be prosecuted.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it shouldn't come from Trump. You know what I mean?
What do you mean it shouldn't come from Trump? Oh,
well, he shouldn't be prosecuted?
He shouldn't. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, it should come from Republican Party.
It should be coming from a DOJ that is even-handed.
Yeah, Merrick Garland, get that son of a bitch out, too. You know, that piece of shit.
Mm.
Well, Merrick Garland's still kind of pissy that he missed out on his Supreme Court appointment. So
that's exactly right. You're right.
Yeah, his
Slim.
panties are in a wad.
Yeah, you got old pissy pants, and so yeah. And look, Christopher Wray, I don't trust him, even though I think he was appointed by Trump, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't trust that guy either.
Hey, how many of you guys think that Biden voted for Trump?
Mistakenly.
No,
yes, I did.
No, on purpose.
I think he did.
They said that they despised each other even before this happened. That Kamala and Biden did not like each other.
Well, he wanted to run again, and they forced him out, so he's bitter about it, and he should be.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be a big fan of somebody that spent a month on a campaign trail doing nothing but calling me a racist.
Yeah. Well, look. What's the reason you think he picked her to be his running mate, despite her calling him a racist?
Because she's black.
Well, there you go. You said it.
Well, she's ethnic. I don't know if she's black.
There, you said
no,
it.
she is. Her dad's Jamaican, so I mean, it is what it is. I've never seen any white people from Jamaica.
I don't think that you have them come in. Well,
That was actually.
Did we get slaves from Jamaica?
You know what? That was actually a 4D chess move by Kamala to call him a racist and then force him to pick her as his vice president so that he doesn't look like a racist. That is genius.
Well, Biden picked a worse candidate for his vice president.
Well, I mean, all you have to do is go by Biden's voting record to see how racist he is.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because not only did he vote against school busing, he also voted against. God, I cannot remember the lady's name now, but back in the late 70s, early 80s, Republicans tried putting a black woman on the Supreme Court, and Biden filibustered that and voted against her.
Yeah, look, Biden was he was a Dixiecrat. He was a segregationist. I mean, that's not even a secret. And the fact that nobody brings that up, it also blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, he was friends with
Donald Trump. But Donald Trump is the racist. But yet he's been in He's not only has he received awards from the NAACP, he's been photoed arm in arm with. Well, granted, they're racist, but Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton since the 80s.
Yeah, they all loved him until he ran for president.
He in fact funded Jesse Jackson when he ran for presidency.
He did.
Yes, he did. And here's the thing, too. They keep calling him a Nazi. How the hell can a man be a Nazi when he worked with so many Jews in building the towers he did in New York?
Listen, Scott, you're old enough to know this. That's been the Democrats' go-to since before Reagan. Just call the Republicans racist.
Did he make Jerusalem the capital of Israel?
Yes, he sure did. And
which,
see, that's
by the way, every president for decades has claimed they were going to do it. None of them did it till Trump. And then for some reason, Trump is a racist piece of shit for doing it, but Bill Clinton wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, all of her people that she had out there representing her, Kamala, Tim Walz, what a douchebag of a damn. I mean, what a person to select as your vice president.
Hey,
the dumbest fucker
listen
I've
to
ever
this.
seen in my life.
Do you know that Trump won the county that Tim Walz is from?
Yeah.
That's how bad.
That was my biggest surprise last night, is that for a majority of the night, Trump was leading Minnesota. Like, even Reagan, when he swept in the, what was it, 84 or 80? I don't remember which one it was. But Reagan won every state but Minnesota, because that's who his opponent, the state his opponent was from. And that's a very blue state, and Trump was leading it most of the night.
It didn't matter.
How about even Virginia? He was close in Virginia.
Yeah. He as soon as he
might win Virginia. Well, no, Virginia. He was leading in Virginia for a while.
You realize that Kamala won, and this is something that I've always kind of had a problem with when it came to this. Trump won more counties, or should I say Kamala won more counties in South Carolina than she did in Virginia. But she won Virginia and he won South Carolina.
Yeah. Well, South Carolina's, Charleston County's blue. I mean, there's
but what I'm saying is, if you pull up each state, like, she only won 4 counties in all of New York State, but she won New York State.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of New York City.
Right.
Well, I get it. But see, that's where I'm a fan of states like Maine, where whoever wins the majority of the state gets the majority of the electoral votes. They split them up.
Right. Well.
Yeah. Well, Columbia is deep blue. Charleston is blue. Myrtle Beach is almost purple. So, yeah, it's, they've had Democrats down here for years now trying to turn South Carolina blue. And
that's what makes the Miami thing so mind-blowing. I mean, because let's face it, every major metropolitan, every major city, huge city is going to vote blue. I mean, that's just the way it's always been.
Yeah.
But not Miami, though. And the irony there is the large Cuban and Latino population, which is, who they were trying to target to vote against Trump.
Yeah, well, when you have a bunch of people that left Castro that are seeing her promote some of the very same policies that Fidel Castro did, what do you think is going to happen?
Yep. Unburdened by what has been. That's from Karl Marx. That's from the mouth of fucking Karl Marx.
Well, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen in 2020, and it didn't happen in 2016. So, why now? I'm talking about Miami.
Good question.
It's because I think his campaign. Look, I think his campaign ran almost perfectly because he was after the working man's vote, and that's exactly what he got. He got the working man's vote, or the working person's vote, instead of the elite. And those that are, that live in these major cities are the elitist. And so he probably knew he wasn't going to win, these big cities, but he went after all the other counties of these rural areas in all the states, and that's where he won.
Volusia says it's because a lot of people moved to Florida because of COVID. Well, they didn't move to Miami.
Yeah, well, guess what? Listen, that's what a lot of people said, because people moved to Florida because of COVID, that it was going to turn Florida blue. And not even close.
He turned Jacksonville from blue to nearly red. Yeah.
Come on up here, Volusia. Come stand in the paint and take your L.
He says he's coming on in a minute. He just got home. That's what I figured. He didn't log on till 11.
Yeah, you did start a little early today.
Yeah. I am interested to hear what he has to say. Here he is.
But I mean, listen. This is a carbon copy of 2016. Everybody's sexist. They just didn't want to vote for a woman. Everybody's racist because Donald Trump's racist, and the Electoral College is the worst thing to happen since the fucking Holocaust.
Electoral College didn't do shit this time, did it?
Nope.
No, it didn't.
Now
That's what I find funny. Is they're going back to the same exact talking points as 2016, but he even won the popular vote this time.
Volusia, you missed.
Are they done counting up the popular? Not that it makes a difference, but
Yeah, she can't win the popular vote. There's not that many votes out there for her to win.
He's and by all practical purposes, I think his electoral count will be somewhere in the range of 304 to 308, I believe.
I think he just won all 7 swing states, right?
Let me ask you a question.
All 8 swing states.
Yeah.
Which was the other one?
Nevada was they put Nevada down as a swing state.
Nevada, Arizona. Hold on. Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin,
Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia. Florida.
Florida's not a swing state.
Yeah, it is.
They had Florida down as a swing state.
Anyway, Volusia, you missed the first 30 minutes of the show. I started a little bit early, so you didn't get to hear my opening statements. But I want to ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
In your mind, what is the reason that he beat her so badly?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few reasons for it. I don't have my finger on the pulse. I'm not even there, obviously. I think, look, man, I mean, people have a slavish devotion to this guy, and I don't think that anyone on this panel right now falls into this category, right? But people have a slavish devotion to this guy, and they believe.
Yeah, but those people were going to vote for him anyway. That wasn't my question. My question is, why did so many independents and Democrats, because that's the only way that a Republican president can win a popular vote, is if Democrats vote for them. So why did so many independents and Democrats vote for him? They're clearly not Trump people.
I don't know that necessarily Democrats vote for him, but he turned out.
Had to have.
Out the vote. Not necessarily. People that maybe don't normally vote. Things that I would like the Democrats to do under normal circumstances is get out people that don't normally vote. And Trump's good at that because he galvanizes people. He's a celebrity president. And there are a lot of people who are low information voters who wouldn't normally vote at all, who see him and they're like, oh, let's get out and vote for him. I don't know what the difference is per se between this time and 2022. I think Slim's right. This one definitely much more resembles 2016 than 2020. Not just because of the outcome, but just the whole tenor.
Do you think maybe it was because nobody likes Kamala Harris?
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
I think that her joining, her being the nominee so late in the process definitely hurt. I think she would have done better. I don't know if she would have won or not, but she would have done better if she had more time to really get out there. And I think Biden hanging on so long definitely hurt her. I think.
Well, she was a shitty candidate. I mean, just simple as that. She was a shitty candidate, and she really didn't even talk about what policy. She never talked really about the economy. She kept talking about, I'm going to make an opportunity in economy. What is that? What exactly is that? And kept talking about price gouging. Price gouging.
Yeah,
price gouging
just
only happens in severe cases like a hurricane.
Again, just from a strategical
price gouging that happens, they're going to stop it immediately.
Just from a strategical standpoint,
that corporations are doing price gouging when grocery stores only have about a 1.5% profit margin. That's
right.
Just
I mean, look. I mean, sure. I don't think that grocery stores are engaging in price gouging, and I don't suspect that's what she meant by that. But the thing about it is that Trump's not going to bring the prices of your groceries down. Like that's not the way any of this works.
I don't even think that had anything to do with what happened last night. I don't think the price of groceries had anything to do with it.
I think that a lot of people look at the quote unquote kitchen table issues and they believe what Trump says and don't believe what she says. The question for me really is why do people buy his bullshit but not hers?
Let me ask you, Volusia.
Well, you want to talk about, low information voters, right. But you've now had 2 out of 3 Democratic candidates stuck in there through nefarious process.
Yeah, what made them think that somebody who couldn't win a presidential primary against Nikki Haley,
right, sure,
would win a presidential election? That nobody voted for her.
This isn't a policy contest; it's a popularity contest, right? At the end of the day, with the election, nothing changes.
I disagree.
What's right, what's wrong is wrong. What's good is good. What's bad is bad. What's true is true. What's false is false. the outcome of the election doesn't change anything, right? Yeah, okay, she's unlikable. Okay, fine. She's unlikable for a number of reasons. A lot of it is who does a better job in terms of their media defamation and all this kind of shit.
Okay,
it's not a policy contest. It's a.
But we talked about this earlier. Democrats are the same fucking way. Barack Obama did an exact 180 from what he said on his campaign to how he actually governed.
Yeah, well, I guess that's my question, right? And obviously, I've thought about it a lot today. Talked with people. You guys. I will say this before I say what I'm going to say next. I don't have a ton of time, but I'll try and squeeze it all in because I got to get up early. But I'll try and squeeze it in. So, like, I'm not around almost anybody. Like, you guys are the only Trump people that I am around, and this is just an internet thing because I live abroad. People that move abroad are generally not the kind of people that are right wing, and I'm not around a lot of so I'm not like it's not like people where I was talking about it all day with a bunch of people that are like wearing MAGA hats. Like no, so I thought I'd get on and talk with y'all about it because I don't talk.
I'll tell you why.
He's not but he's not right wing. Okay.
Well,
I mean, you're talking a guy that's been a red.
He's not right. That's correct.
You're talking about a guy in Donald Trump that, I mean, you want to talk about not being right wing, has been a registered Democrat all of his life until 2015.
Yeah, but he's obviously right wing now. I mean, he's right wing.
No, but he's not neocon. He is not.
No, he's not neocon. You're right. He's not a traditional neocon Republican.
So let me guess. RFK. Let me guess. RFK is RFK right wing too?
Is he really right wing though? Because look at the policies and hang on. What's very different between his policies and Bill Clinton's policies?
Right. So
not much at all.
Right. The political zeitgeist always moves to the left over time. Right. So something that would have been on the left in 1960 is on the right now. Actually, it's on the hard right now in terms of a lot of social policies.
Well, the liberal, yeah. I mean, you look at John F. Kennedy's policies in his day, in his heyday, yeah. He'd be considered a Republican candidate.
That's normal. That's how it works in all Western societies and in all societies as a whole. I mean, in the 1950s, we were still in segregation, and we thought race mixing was communism in schools. I mean, like we've moved on from that.
But you think so? Let me ask you, Volusia. Do you really think that Trump, socially, do you really think that he has hard lines on social issues or cultural issues? Do you really think that?
Right. That's a good question. So I think my answer to that is personally, no. I don't think that he is religious. I don't think he's a Christian. No. I don't think he really cares that much about abortion. He's paid women to have abortions, and I don't begrudge him for that. I don't give a fuck. I don't think that he really cares that much about gay and trans issues and all this kind of shit. I don't think he does, but he feeds that red meat to his base because he knows that he gets.
No, he doesn't feed it to him. He doesn't talk about it.
Sure,
he didn't in this election.
He literally talked about the whole abortion thing, Roe v. Wade, all that shit. Conservative Supreme Court judges.
No.
He said it was a state issue. He didn't really talk about it. He said when it was ever brought up, he said it was a state issue.
Supreme Court judges all the time. He might not say it on certain stages, but he says it all the time. He says it to his rich donors. He says it. He feeds red meat to the people that he wants to curry favor from, which is fine. Politicians do that.
He said this. He said he would never push Volusia. Don't misconstrue. He made it clear he would never push for a national ban on abortion.
There you go.
Federal government.
Which, by the way, hang on. By the way, you want to talk about pushing red meat to your base? Every single Democrat president since Carter has said they were going to codify abortion on the national level, and not a single fucking one of them did it.
Yeah, they should have. They fucked up, obviously. No, I mean, I think...
Well, they had no intention of doing it. It's a talking point.
Right. Well, they should have done it. I think when you talk about federally mandated rights, the issue is that when you cross state lines, if one right is taken away because I went from Michigan to Indiana...
Oh, you mean like guns?
Hey, sure, like weed?
Is that a state rights issue or not? In America, you can have guns. There are no state in America where guns are illegal.
I know that, but they all have different gun laws.
I tell you, when you drive across to New York with a gun in your car and you don't have all the shit figured out in New York,
we'll have all the shit figured out.
Guess what? I do not own a single gun that I can legally take into California or New York.
You know, why is that?
Exactly.
Because of their state gun laws.
Yeah, me too. Same thing.
So yeah, I mean, it's a state issue. They brought it back. I mean, it was a smart thing to do, and everyone thinks, oh well, you're taking away my reproductive rights. No, they've not been taken away. I mean, it can be. You can go if your state is not. It's not an abortion state. Then you can go across the damn state line and get an abortion.
I don't think it's illegal in any state.
There's not a single state that has banned abortion completely.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, but a 6-week abortion ban. Many women don't even know they're pregnant through 6 weeks. I'm not here to.
Yeah.
No one's done a 6-week ban abortion. No, they haven't. No, but there should be a ban on an abortion at term of birth. I mean, for God's sakes.
That's made up. There's no live birth.
Oh yes, there was. Oh yes, there is. Oh yes, there is. I mean, yeah.
See,
Minnesota had it.
Tracking abortion.
That dumbass Tim Waltz. Oh God, Tim Waltz. What a douchebag.
I think he would have won.
Anyway,
no.
I mean, Jesus Christ, you want to talk about low information? That is literally something that's happened that you're trying to sit here and say doesn't exist.
And here's another thing. Kamala had everything going for her in regards to she had the whole mainstream media on her side, pushing her agenda, pushing her freaking rhetoric, letting her get away. CBS edited a damn interview so that she looked and sounded better. And then when she goes on Fox News, her damn people are saying, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up, because Brett Baer was asking her some damn questions that she couldn't answer. She was, she had unless there was a teleprompter in front of her, she could not talk.
And that's exactly why she didn't want to go to Austin and sit in Joe Rogan's studio for 3 hours and talk unscripted, because she's not capable of doing it.
And Joe said he was just treat her like a human. He wouldn't go through all the damn tough questions.
Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, she should have done it.
Right.
I said this last show. She should have done it. 12 states ban abortion.
I want to give him credit for some of this, right? I think that sometimes when I say we, the people on the not democratic, left, progressive, liberal, fascist side, we don't always come across against them very good. But we didn't push the issues on transgender. They did. Okay.
Right. I think that transgender issues are a canard. This is not an important issue, except for a very small faction of the United States. Can I finish a sentence?
It is.
It's not a very important issue for a very small faction of the United States.
It is.
I'll try again. It's not a very important issue, except for but a very small faction of the U.S. population. And I think that both sides focus on it too much.
But listen, men and women's sports, that kind of shit, there's where the transgender issue needs to be stopped. No more men in women's sports.
Well, hang on. Let
transitioning children.
Yeah, Scott,
hang on.
Hey, let
Belushi finish the thought.
Yeah, let him talk.
I got to get up in the morning, and if I'm not allowed to finish this.
Yes, go ahead. Please do.
I don't treat politics like I treat sports. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about it. I think it's interesting to talk to you guys. Like I said, I don't talk to a whole lot of people with your political opinions that often. I don't treat politics like I do sports, so it's not like I wouldn't have come on in here gloating if my preferred candidate had won, and I'm not going to mope about it because they lost. It doesn't really actually change anything. I'm much more invested in my sports teams because, in my opinion, we all follow our teams religiously, and it's kind of cultish behavior on our part. I'm in the Clemson cult, right? And I don't carry that over into sort of real life sort of shit.
I don't either. I want
to congratulate the big winner of the day, Vladimir Putin, not because he made this happen, but because he's going to benefit from it massively. Yeah. So that's great for him. She is also very happy today. So you've made the leader of this country quite happy with this decision. Most Americans will suffer. Here's what I think in my synopsis is one of two things is going to happen, right? Trump is either going to continue to be an ineffective policymaker as he was in his first term.
Bullshit. Whoa, stop. Bullshit. That is bullshit. That is absolute bullshit, what you just said. That is absolute bullshit. Tell me what he didn't do. Tell me what he didn't do.
I will. That's bullshit. A lot of the shit that he promised then, the whole building the wall, didn't do that.
He did build the wall. He built it. He was fighting against it.
Okay.
Is that the only thing you got? He didn't build the wall completely?
Scott, let him finish.
Cat. Thank you.
Yeah, but no, I got to stop him right there because that's bullshit. Okay, look.
To hear anything.
Relax.
Volusia, stop for a damn second. You said he didn't do his politics. What did he do? He energy independent. He lowered the income tax for the middle class, best middle class income tax cut ever. Okay, then black unemployment went way down. Energy independence. People were having more money in their pockets under Trump than any other damn time.
If you're not going to let me talk.
No, well, you just keep talking and talking and talking. I'm not going to let you say bullshit there. That's bullshit. I'm calling you out on bullshit.
He's an ineffective politician. Now,
bullshit. If he was such an ineffective politician, why did he win by the popular vote?
Unbelievable. Either he'll continue to be an ineffective politician or he won't. I have the feeling that the latter is true. I have the feeling that he will be more effective.
Well, here's one thing though, Volusia. He's got the House and the Senate now too.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Well, he's not going to have. Listen, here's a reason why you might say he was an ineffective politician. He was having to fight the damn Democratic Party the entire time he was elected with the Russia bullshit, with everything that they were throwing out at him. That's what he had to fight. He was fighting that while trying to do policy too in the United States.
Right. Barack Obama had to fight the Republican Party for 6 of the 8 years.
Oh, Barack Obama didn't have to fight shit. Barack Obama had it made.
They gave Obama everything he wanted, right? Anyway, shut the fuck up.
They certainly did. Barack Obama had, Barack Obama, they keep saying, Barack Obama had a great economy. He didn't do shit for the economy. Hang on a second. I'm going to do job. I'm going to make him do job. He did nothing.
Please.
Scott, hang on a second.
You sound like a triggered snowflake right now, Scott. Maybe you want to get back up in the cloud.
Answer me this,
Volusia, if you just stop talking and let someone else talk for a damn minute, because I'm going to call bullshit when I hear it.
Triggered snowflake. No, you can't hear anything.
Triggered snowflake. I just call him bullshit when I hear it. Don't say shit that is bullshit.
I'll go ahead and use y'all's tactics. Triggered snowflake. Anyway,
hang on a second, Scott.
He's going to be a more effective politician this time.
Belushi, answer me this. What did Barack Obama do other than Obamacare during his 8 years?
Exactly.
Obamacare was a great policy. I see. Here's the thing.
Well, no. You're talking about ineffective politician, and I agree that Barack Obama things were out of his control.
I can't finish any point.
Yeah, we've got it.
Your points are all moot.
Hey, listen.
Shit. When you
don't even let me
bullshit, I'm gonna call you out on it.
We've got it. Have a good one, man. Maybe next show we can have a rational conversation where I don't get cut off after 3 seconds.
Yeah. The triggered snowflake is you, Belushi.
Guys, enjoy yourselves. Look, hopefully we talk. Well, I have a lot of. I'm not allowed to finish a sentence on the show anymore when we talk about politics.
You just finished one.
I'm sorry? No, I didn't.
Go ahead, Volusia.
Okay, cool.
Spout all you damn wall. But when you say something and you say something like, Trump was an ineffective president from 2016 to 2020, I'm going to say that's bullshit. Floor is yours, Volusia. Got anything else to say? Well, one, I'm not a triggered snowflake. Two, when I hear something that is absolute asinine and I consider a lie, I'm going to call you out on it.
Well, that's
and when you said that Trump was an ineffective, when he said, okay, he's gone now. Okay, when he said Trump was an ineffective president from 2016 to 2020, not true. Trump did he did a great job as president. His resume proved that.
He was rather ineffective after 2018. That's a fact because they lost the midterms and he lost both houses of Congress.
Well, okay, yeah. In that case, yes. And then his last year with COVID, that really hurt his presidency too. Had nothing to do with him though.
But that's why I brought up Barack Obama, because the same thing happened with him. He went way too far, lost both houses of Congress.
Right.
And he wasn't able to do another thing.
But here's the thing about Barack Obama. Barack Obama kept promising jobs. Well, I'm going to bring the job factor back, and he never did. He never did. You know what he was trying? Here's his here was his reasoning of jobs, increasing jobs by offering 15,000 more forest rangers in the United States. That was his increase in job employment. I mean, and that's what Biden did. He put everybody on the federal teat, in the past 4 years. 86,000 new damn IRS agents. What do you call that?
Scott, this critique I'm going to give you. You got to let people voice their opinion.
I let him voice his opinion, Paul. I did. But when I heard him say, the first thing he said, well, Trump was an ineffective president when in his term. No, he wasn't. He was not.
No, that's fine. You can do it. Everybody has an exchange, right? You don't have to talk over him. Don't try to dominate him. The point being is, Volusia's got a weird point. I mean, I shouldn't say weird. He's got a different point of view, right?
Well, no, he has a weird point of view. You got
no, he's a ward point of view.
Stop.
He has a ward point of view.
Well, no, Huffer Billy, there have been conversations that we've had on here, and you weren't present on the panel for, and it left everybody on this panel and everybody in the comment section just shaking their head for what he said.
Look, I don't disagree that he's got some, like I call it obtuse or off the chain kind of things, but I just don't want to be rude. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, Volusia has an opinion. Like everyone else does.
Well, you should be on here. We're going to get rude there, Paul.
Yeah.
Well. Now, to Scott's defense, also, Volusia, and this is a tactic that a lot of people use. He tries to cover 17 topics in one statement, I stopped him from doing that too.
Yeah, he talks 90 miles an hour, and he thinks that if he continues to talk, then no one's going to stop him from talking. That's why I interject.
Yeah,
because I know how he is.
I hear you.
Now, there's absolutely no problem in trying to pin him down one topic at a time. But listen, a lot of people do that when they'll throw things in there that they don't have an argument for with things that they do.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I try to just, like I said, I just want us to try to keep it normal.
Well, first of all, Lawn Tractor for Life, that's not true. I don't invite Volusia on here to rag on him. I never have. He's always welcome on here. He knows that.
Man,
guess what? As
he's a friend of mine.
Yes, and as much as me and Pete agree on, we disagree on here about a great many things.
Yeah.
I disagree with Slim on a lot of damn things too in the past.
But I like
yeah, I disagree with all of you.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm not mad at Volusia. There's nothing wrong with. I mean, you're right. There's nothing wrong with some disagreement and debate and argument. It's not that I'm all upset about Volusia. For God's sakes, I mean, it's just when I hear something, I'm gonna say, oh no.
Yeah, Twitter feed is assaulting mine today. I admitted at the top of the show that I'm a sick person, and I think that the Twitter feed right now is way more entertaining than the entire presidential campaign was for the past year.
I'm sure last night was something else.
Listen, I had as much as I said I was just going to go to bed last night, I didn't, and I had my earbud in, just listening to. I was just listening in a Twitter space, and they were kind of updating on what things were going on, and I was just constantly scrolling through the feed, fucking with people.
Well, it's super easy.
Yeah, that's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Hey man, I kept myself entertained until 3 a.m.
Yeah,
dude, I was up till 4:30, and I did watch it in glory. But that being said, I just feel like sometimes we learn things from listening to Volusia. I mean, whether you like what you want to hear, it doesn't matter.
Well, look, like you said, I just said it, Paul. I mean, I don't have anything against Volusia, okay? I don't agree with his policies and his ideal on politics. And when Volusia gets started and talking, he talks 90 miles an hour.
The problem is, though,
doesn't allow you to say anything.
The problem is, though, Scott, is that he's on here sort of by himself, and there's the four of us. So
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, he's well, then he's on the Fox News channel panel then.
Oh no, I'm no don't put me in that category.
Hell no.
No, but anyway.
No, it's fun. I mean,
Look, I love Volusia, so
be nice. I
let's
mean,
get that out there.
You know what I mean?
Look,
You know what I mean?
bottom line, we won, they lost.
Yeah, we're the five.
Yeah, there's a lot of butthurt.
Hip Elf says we're the five. You know that show on Fox.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
Let me ask you a question, Pete. So where are they going to move? Well, you know who I'm talking about, but you don't have to mention it. But where are they going to move if they're going to move out?
Canada.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well,
Canada or Mexico.
Actually, it's not a bad
Well,
choice.
actually, you know what the truth is? They're not moving anywhere. They're full of shit.
No, they are. Nobody's leaving. It's just the same old, same old. They say that every time. No one's going anywhere. This is the greatest country in the world. They're not moving anywhere. They don't want to move to a third world country.
I don't even know why people say that. Don't they know they're setting themselves up for? I mean,
Ridicule.
yeah, for making themselves look like idiots.
Come on.
They did the same thing last time too. They did the last two times. If Trump wins, I'm leaving the country. None of them left.
Yeah, I wish Taylor Swift would leave.
Why? What's wrong with her?
No, it's just she keeps threatening it, and I just want her
She
to
does?
follow through. That's all. It's
I
not
don't think
because
she has
of
ever
anything
said
wrong
that.
with her. I just want her to.
Did
do
she
what
say that really? I don't
she's
think she
gonna
did.
do. She's so crazy.
Well, despite what anybody says about Trump, here's a man that after January 6, 2021, everyone said, oh, his career's over. He's done. He'll never be in politics again. Then the DOJ weaponizes them against him and sets up all these trials for him to try to nearly bankrupt him. And then he perseveres through all that and becomes the next president.
Yeah, and
it's a history-making event. By
I
all
think
means.
what happened last night is a reflection. It has zero to do with Trump. It has everything to do with the Democratic Party.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. That has a lot to. You're right, Pete. It has a lot to do with it. The Democratic Party, as I said, has to do a whole reset on
They're a
themselves.
shit show, man.
I'll admit the Republican Party is fucked up too. But man, the Democrats have reached a total new level of incompetency,
Yeah.
and that's why they lost so bad. And they're
Bad.
and if they want to win in 2028, they're going to have to change something. Well, they're going to change a
They're
lot.
going to change a lot.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, unfortunately, you have too many people too dug in, and they think that they honestly think that they just know better than you what you want and what you need.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other part. That's the other major problem with them is that they talk to the average American voter like they're idiots, like they're the authority that's smarter than everybody else, and we're all a bunch of dummies, and people aren't going to put up with that shit.
We're too smart
agree.
for that. Now, if we keep the educational system the way it is, we might not be smart enough to figure it out.
Well, and that's why you've had people, and I swear I will continue to say this. I don't know why more people don't know this man's name and the things that he says. But Thomas Sowell has been on that train since the 70s, how much charter schools need to become, and school choice need to become more of a reality in America.
I saw something last night that I've never seen before. I was switching back and forth between all the different news stations just to see, the different type of rhetoric that was going on from Fox News to CNN to MSNBC. And on one segment on Fox News, during the election, they were actually using the words mainstream media and being critical of the mainstream media. This is the actual mainstream media criticizing the mainstream media on live television.
Hey, you mentioned Thomas Sowell. He's still around, isn't he? Slim,
Yes, he is.
90
He is
some odd years old, isn't he?
93 years old.
Wow,
he's
man.
about to die.
Yeah, he's a great economist and all that. I mean, yeah, he's a very intelligent man.
And there used to be
brother.
I was going to say there used to be a joke that him and Walter Williams weren't allowed on the same plane in case it went down.
Walter and him are the only two black men who have common sense.
What?
Well,
Not
Uncle
true,
Billy Paul,
by the
I
way.
wouldn't say that. I would take that
Well,
statement.
no, that was the joke though.
Oh,
It was sarcasm.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That was their joke. And by the way, they're both black.
we're in this group text for the gambling addicts, and well, except for Paul, he doesn't gamble, but he's still in the group chat. Uncle Lou said something that was actually very funny this morning. He said, all these people that talk about leaving the country if so and so wins. He goes, well, he said, I'm not leaving the country. This is the greatest country on earth. He said, but I would consider moving to Nevada and get out of Georgia since Georgia's so red, And he goes, but the problem is Trump won Nevada too. Can't even go there.
You
Which
can't
is
run,
so-
you can't hide.
It's so what do you call it? Juxtaposed to all these people wanting to leave the country. That was perfect.
That was funny though.
That's great.
Trump doesn't mean shit to Georgia, nor Nevada, nor nobody else, okay? Other than the overall federal process. That's what's funny about it. It's great.
Well, and here's my thing with this for the people that are just that upset about it. Then if you're that upset about this election, then you should be on my side where we need to take the federal government back to a time when it really didn't matter that much to us who won and who lost.
That's exactly right. Well, hopefully we're going to trim the federal government. I think that's going to be Elon's task to do.
The problem with that is we've been hearing, my whole life, the Republican Party has claimed to be small government, limited government, but they have a huge hand in the growth of the federal government just as much as the Democrats do. There's not much difference between the two parties when it comes to that. That's why I say that all those things that when Trump says stuff like that, I don't necessarily believe him.
Listen, I mean, back in the Reagan days, he was going to eliminate 2 to 3 departments. He named them, by the way, and it never happened. Department of Education, wasn't EPA, but it was something close to DOT. What was it? And Housing and Urban Development. He was going to eliminate them, and it never happened.
Well, and listen, some of them need to. I mean, people think that we need a federal Department of Education. Well, it's only been around since the Carter years, and literally its entire track record is a failure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because, have schools steadily gotten better or worse since the Carter administration?
Worse. Very much
There you go.
I would like to pat myself on the back here for a second. I made the greatest tweet. I've made, 10,000 tweets since I joined on Twitter, whatever it was, 6 or 7 years ago. I made the greatest tweet last night that I've ever made in my life. It was Trump used the transfer portal to bring in Tulsi, RFK, Elon, and Joe Rogan. Dabo needs to take note.
I saw that.
That's good.
Well, and see, that's where I'll say that I think Trump is serious about trying to streamline government and shrink the size of it, at least physically, because that's exactly what he's going to hire Elon to do.
Yep.
Yes.
And he's going to hire Kennedy for Department of Health. And I don't know. I think where will Vivek Ramaswamy fit in there? But
that's another lie. See, that's another lie that the media is telling everybody that RFK is going to ban vaccines, which is he never ever said that. What he said was there needs to be regulation on. They have a free. There's no testing that has to go on. There's no laws when it comes to the safety and efficacy of these vaccines that they release. That's all he said.
Right.
He didn't say he was going to get rid of them.
Well, that and if you look at it, 30 years ago, you had to get a third of the vaccines that you have to get today.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get polio used to be a terrible thing. My mother-in-law had polio as a child. But I think it's safe to say we pretty much eradicated polio.
Well,
Yeah.
Why do I need 6 polio vaccines?
Well, polio used to come as a kid. If I remember correctly, that was what you took with the sugar cube as a vaccine.
No, you got shot in the arm.
Paul? Huh? Oh, might have been a shot in the arm. One of the vaccines we took was a sugar cube.
I don't know about the vaccine deal. I do agree with them on every other major civilized industrial country in the world has banned a lot of the ingredients that are in our food. And
that's LSD.
Yeah, LSD.
No, you look at your arm. If you have a scar on your shoulder or on your up here near your shoulder.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. It did. It made a little indentation in your arm. You're right. It was a little circle around your arm for that.
And it looked like you had been hit by like 6 or 8 needles all at once. My stepdad had that.
Yeah.
It's like a crater on the moon.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like, Paul. You're right.
But Trump eats McDonald's every day. Yeah, that's another thing RFK said. He said he doesn't have any problem with fast food. But if you look at if you McDonald's in the United States
God help us.
fries all their food in vegetable oil. In Europe, they can't do that. It's banned. They fry it in beef tallow, which is actually healthy for you.
Yeah, that was something my great grandmother cooked with lard till the day she died, and that woman lived into her 90s. But yet, I've grown up my whole life listening to how bad for you lard is.
Well, they did the same thing with butter. They did the same thing with eggs. You remember when they tried to tell everyone eggs were unhealthy with the cholesterol and that? That's a lie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, margarine. That's not. I don't even know what that is. What is that?
It's made from vegetable oil.
Yeah. See.
Well, I will say this. I don't know who was the marketing genius behind Trump's campaign towards the end of the days. Oh, look, it's got some Crisco there, Paul. Okay, got a big old thing of Crisco. But the whole McDonald's drive-through idea was amazingly great, and then the whole garbage damn truck idea was outstanding. And
the garbage truck thing was funny.
Well, and listen, I don't disagree with you at all, Pete, that there are definitely things that are allowed to be in our food that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a whole lot of irresponsibility in the United States. When people are eating fast food 3 times a day, it's not fast food's fault that you're 400 pounds. It's your fault.
Yep. True.
No, I don't disagree with that.
Enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
And Volusia, don't be mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. I'm like Tupac Shakur. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah. No, but the key thing is let him.
Bye, guys.
All right. See you later, Scott.
We just need to let him have a voice. I feel like we overran him a little bit.
Well, people get worked up on here, and it's an emotional thing for some people, I guess. But anyway, going back to what Slim said, I don't disagree with you, Slim, that it's a personal choice to consume, the type of food that people consume. But there's a reason why a lot of these ingredients are illegal in a lot of countries, and it's because of how bad they are for you, and that puts a serious toll on our healthcare system, which is already under an enormous amount of stress.
Right. Like I said, I don't disagree with you. I think that 2 things or even 3, 4, and 5 things can be true at once.
Yeah.
And I don't think you would disagree with this. Most problems in life or in this world, there's no one fix to them. It takes multiple things to fix it. And part of it is some of the ingredients that are allowed. Part of it's personal responsibility. I mean, listen, this country, we consume more sugar than any other country.
Yeah.
And salt.
Yeah.
So My only concern about the food situation is a lot of people they don't read the micro label. You know what I mean?
Well, the other thing is it's not just the ingredients in the food; it's what's being sprayed on our food. During agriculture, during the growing process. And again, most countries don't allow that shit. Which is why when you go somewhere in Europe, like Italy or something, and you eat a bunch of pasta, you don't feel like shit, and you don't blow up like a fucking whale. But when you eat it here like that, you do.
Now that I don't know if it's true. I mean, pasta is one of those things, and you hear about it in marathoners and bicyclists and Olympic athletes. That's one of the key things that they carbo load on before an event.
Yeah, but there's carbs in pasta in Italy too. It's a different product here. It doesn't even taste the same. And this
you're exactly right.
This didn't start till I think the early '80s. For anybody who didn't hear the RFK Jr. interview on Joe Rogan, it was either last year or the year before. He talks about that. I mean, this guy's been doing this. He's been investigating this problem his entire adult life. So this is not something new he just came up with. People just started paying attention now because he was running for president. But the spraying of glyphosate on our wheat started happening in the early '80s, and as soon as that started happening, the cancer rate like 5-10-fold more than it was before that. There's a direct correlation between that and the health of the average American, and you can't get away from it. Wheat's in everything, almost everything, unless you just eat.
Very, very systemic.
Yeah,
and everything we do is
unless
systemic.
you're a vegetarian or a vegan or something, you can't get away from. That's my problem. Because
if you're a vegetarian, you can't get away from it.
Yeah, I love wheat.
Here's my thing when it comes to what they spray on the food, because you brought that up. Some of it is absolutely required just because of the amount of people.
No, the reason
you have to get to the point where you can produce more. Otherwise, you would have a serious problem.
I'm not saying no pesticides ever, but glyphosate in particular. Here's the reason they do it. They do it to increase their how fast their yield is. So towards the end of the growing season, the reason they spray it on there is not to make it better or produce more even. It's to produce it faster. It dries it out faster.
Right.
So,
and listen, I don't know enough about it to say, this needs to go and this needs to stay. But I know some of it is absolutely required. Otherwise, we would have way bigger issues.
Robert F.K. Jr. does. He's been researching it. And Trump's saying, let the experts talk. Let them deal with it. Same thing with Elon. Let the damn genius.
Yeah, well, and okay, that's a double-edged sword because I do remember the boob tube telling me that Anthony Fauci was a fucking expert too.
Well, Trump picks good experts. He got handed the damn Fauci expert.
Well, and that I agree with. The guy's been in government for 50 years. He's a bureaucrat.
Well, I think that Fauci is an expert. He's just a liar. So you can be both.
I don't know how much of an expert he is. I mean, this guy had never changed his position on, AIDS being airborne. At least not publicly.
He's a lazy fucking scientist. That's what he is.
Well, that goes back to my point, though. How long has it been since he was actually a scientist when you've been in the bureaucracy for 50 years?
No, I think we need people that are qualified or that have expertise that we can trust.
Michael,
I don't think everybody Trump picks is going to be that way. I think he's going to make mistakes again, but he won't make as many. He won't make as many.
Michael, I understand what you're trying to say here, but that's a false statement. He says most countries don't allow the amount of drugs through their borders like we do. That's more important than people eating McDonald's. The disease and heart disease rate kills way more people than drugs do.
That is
way more.
Now, yes, they're both problems. Absolutely.
It is a drug. McDonald's is a drug. Not just McDonald's. I mean, we use them as an example, but there are a lot of bad food processing going on.
Drugs are definitely a problem, but food addiction is a much bigger problem in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, listen, I'll admit, you want to talk about an addiction. I've gotten headaches when I've gone without caffeine for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, if he bans caffeine, I'm voting blue next time.
Yeah, right. I mean, hell, you want to talk about a liberal position? I'm for legalizing gambling and weed. Now, I do think the left coast went way too far. You know, I don't think the Oregon approach is right that you should legalize the possession of everything. Because no, you crack is not okay. Crystal meth is not okay. But I don't really give a shit if people smoke weed or not. Fucking whatever.
What about mushrooms? Can we eat mushrooms?
Hey, if it comes out of, if you can go out in the field and just pick it up, it's probably all right.
Yeah, banning nature is never a good idea.
Well, see, they try to make that argument about cocaine, but they leave out the
No, that's a process.
it has to go through.
Yeah, that's a processed drug. That's not natural.
Same
Now,
thing with poppy seeds and heroin. Right.
I mean, chewing on a cocoa leaf is one thing, but making cocaine is a totally different ball game.
Yeah. Well, and to Paul's point, I mean, lots of people like to eat poppy seed bread.
Yeah, I eat it all the time. I eat poppy seed bagels.
Uh-oh, you might fail a drug test. You do that.
Actually, he will. We had when I worked at the prison, we ended up getting a memo about that because there was a guy liked poppy seed buns, ate his lunch on poppy seed buns, and popped positive for opiates.
Yeah, I don't think we should be.
Hip elf. I may even hide hip elf or at least put him in timeout. No, we should never ban Coca-Cola. What in the hell is wrong with you?
No, see that's I agree because that goes back to Slim's point about personal choice. You know what Coca-Cola is. You know it's full of however many teaspoons of sugar, but you drink it anyway.
Right. You know how long it's been since I've had a Coca-Cola? About 16 years. 16 years I haven't had one.
And if you notice, Pete, that goes back to the point that I harp on continuously. We have a personal responsibility problem in this country as well.
Yeah,
that's true.
Just like we know alcohol is not good for you, but I'm not for banning alcohol. Obviously, Slaw's not either.
No.
I mean, listen, just because a lot of us can control it. I mean, you were talking about it a minute ago. Just because a lot of us can. Well, hang on, Paul. Just because a lot of us can control our gambling, there's lots of people that can't. Yeah. I don't think it should be banned.
No.
Right.
I consider it a little bit of a run joke, but at the same time, I don't.
Well, I mean, I've said this a lot. You can't. No matter how much you try, left or right, because both of them have tried it, you can't legislate away, or you can't legislate morality. And you can't legislate good decision making.
Right. Yeah. Just can't. Hey, Pete. So let's just switch a little bit here for a second. So this Louisville loss, okay? I know you've been on the channel and talked about it. If we go to not West Virginia, we go to Virginia Tech, and we're going to go in there. Do you think we'll come out on fire, or do you think we'll come out flat?
Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine. We got some, unfortunately, going back to the defensive problems of the football team, we've got some key players out on defense that are starters, and they're just not, something we've been talking about this all year, right? The first string defense is as good as anybody in the country, but once you get down after that, it's a massive drop off. So I wouldn't be surprised if Clemson lost to Virginia Tech. I really wouldn't.
I think Virginia Tech's going to put up a fight, but I'd still be surprised if you lost that game.
No, Slim, I think we're going to lose. And
of course you do. I mean, listen, you've been down on Clemson all year. We know you.
Well, I'm not saying they're going to lose, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to be very, very honest. I think that Virginia Tech can beat us there, and I think we're going to lose to South Carolina.
I agree with you on that one.
Two games is going to
out of the last 4 games, because one of them is a Citadel. That's a gimme, obviously.
No, we're not.
But out of the last 3 games, South Carolina is the best one out of all of them.
Of course. Yeah.
And Clemson likes losing at home too, apparently.
We enjoy it. It's part of our thing now.
Hey, well, I'm not going to knock that because whatever keeps Miami's home win streak record intact, I'm all for.
I did see maybe the dumbest comment I've ever seen. Somebody tagged me on Twitter after Clemson lost to Louisville and said, Pete, you just need to realize that South Carolina is a better program than Clemson. Boy, oh boy.
Listen, I'll give Shane Beamer his props.
Will too.
Because I was against the firing of Shane Beamer talk in the offseason and the beginning of the year. And I think he's proven me right. But South Carolina's nowhere near Clemson.
South Carolina's getting there, though. So stop.
No. Stop with that, too.
No, they are. They're making progress.
Look, South Carolina is.
I'm not saying they're there.
You got to start with a baseline here. All right. So when Clemson only wins 10 games a year, everyone says that they're a disaster. South Carolina wins 7 games. Everyone tries to act like they're the fucking 85 Bears. No, there has to be some rationale that goes into this. Is Shane Beamer
playing a lot different?
Is this year's South Carolina team better than anybody thought it was going to be? Yes, including South Carolina fans. But let's pump the brakes a little bit on they're all of a sudden magically a great football program.
I didn't say they were great. I said they're moving in the right direction.
Listen, they haven't even reached,
and they're winning.
They haven't even reached their pinnacle of the Steve Spurrier years yet. So Pete's right.
I'm not saying that they're great. I'm saying they're moving in the right direction, and they beat a lot of good teams.
Like Clemson had over a decade of 10-win seasons. How many 10-win seasons does South Carolina have ever?
Very 5, I think, or 5. I think it was 5. 6.
I don't even know if it's that many. Well, yeah. Hold on. I think he's right because Steve Spurrier had, I think, 4 10-plus win seasons.
Yeah.
And they might have had another one. They might have had another one like when they won the ACC back in 1969 or something. But outside of that, no. Well, Shane Beamer's never had one.
3 losses then, and it wasn't even an over 10-game schedule yet.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. But no, my point is I'm just saying that South Carolina isn't moving backwards. They're moving forward. They're getting closer. They're coming up. They're what do you call it? They're cycling in, as we like to say. They're cycling in.
Yeah. Where have I heard that before? How'd that work out?
Yeah, whatever. But I do think they're doing better, and I which makes me mad. To be honest, it aggravates the shit out of me. But they're doing better than we are. I feel like we're cycling out. I really do.
What?
It's troubling. It's a very troubling time.
No, what's troubling is your logic. That's what's troubling.
Well, he overreacts.
Logic is normal. It's like if you just look at the results, we're going to trouble. But troubling is part of the.
You're basically guaranteed to have a better record than you did last year.
Yeah, by several games probably. Paul overreacts to every win and every loss.
Maybe, probably. But Slim, how do you know that we're going to have a better record than last year?
Because to have a worse record than last year, they would literally have to lose every game they have left.
That's right. Not every game they have left. They got 4 games left. That's how many games they lost last year.
Okay, almost every game they have left.
We have to lose 3 of the 4.
Okay, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know that.
That is definitely not happening.
We might.
Good God. Okay.
I really do. I believe that.
I thought I was pessimistic about Miami, but good Lord.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be a bad time. But nonetheless, I don't think we'll lose a Citadel. God help us. Jesus Lord.
What I think is much more likely is you're going to look back on that Louisville loss in 3 or 4 weeks and look at it like a mulligan, like you did against Pitt in 2016 or Syracuse in 2017.
I would agree with you, except that we also got blown off the field by Georgia. Now Georgia's a good team, but it wasn't competitive.
Was it?
No, but that was also week 1, and you looked exponentially better from then forward.
Oh, well.
Against shitty competition.
Okay, and Kay Klubnik looked worse against shitty competition last year. So he looks better against shitty competition this year. So it's still a better team.
Yeah.
They're moving up. They're doing better than they were. They just still suck.
Well, that's why I say defensively they're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
and
we're going backwards on defense.
Yeah, now that I think you're right, and I'm glad you're finally seeing things my way.
Well, it's been a Wes Goodwin's first year wasn't terrible, wasn't great. The year after that was slightly worse, and this year it's even worse. So it's 3 years in a row now. I'm not going to sit there when he first gets hired and I'm going to go, okay, well, he's not Brent Venables. That means he's going to fucking be terrible. No, I got to give the guy a little bit of time to see what he's going to do. I've seen enough.
Right. Yeah, because he had never been a play caller before.
Yeah, so. I've seen enough. They're not a good coached defense, and he is the leader of the defense. Dabo might have his hands all in the offense. I don't know. That's another debate. But one thing I know for sure, he doesn't have his hands in the defense. That's why Brent Venables was such a genius, and that's why Wes Goodwin is not prepared for a job like Clemson. Sorry.
Well, I don't think a big program like a Clemson, any big brand, I think in general it's terrible to start off as your first job.
No, that's fine. I mean, but
most of the time it doesn't work out. Like let's be honest, the Ryan Days, the Dan Lannings, the Kirby Smarts, those guys taking a big time program as even their first head coaching job, those guys are the exception to the rule. Most people are like Will Muschamp, where they get handed a big program for the first time and they look absolutely terrible. That's why most coaches that do great either get plenty of time like Dabo Swinney or work their way up from lower programs to bigger programs like a Nick Saban.
Well,
here's what I do know.
I hope you're right.
I made this point on my State of the Fan Address video, is that Dabo's been the head coach for 17 years now. I think this is year 17 at Clemson, and he's fired a lot. He's hired a lot of guys. He's fired a lot of guys. And almost every time, not every time, almost every time he's made a coordinator change or even a position coach change, he's made an upgrade. Now, Wes Goodwin falls in the category of a failure to me. So my question is, does he have the stones to fire Wes Goodwin and go find somebody else? Because I can tell you right now, with the clout that Clemson has as a program, and they can afford to pay their coordinators a lot of money, they should have at least 10 to 12 candidates to take over Wes Goodwin's job that are better than him, at least. But I don't know if he'll do it.
I don't either. And I think that I wish it was just that. I think it's the wide receivers coach too. I think he needs to get rid of them.
Well, he's been unpopular for years. Grisham.
Well, and listen, I fought that one with Miami fans with some of them. There are plenty of things that I think you can put on coaches, but I also think you have to put things on the players that are on the players. You're not at a program like Clemson. You're not at a big-time D1 program as a wide receiver, and you have to be coached up to how to catch the fucking ball.
Listen, and I'm going to say this seriously. Clemson's recruiting is falling off.
No.
Okay?
No.
Yes, it has.
It hasn't.
No, not statistically it hasn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know.
Pete, where do you think we are right now in 2025 recruiting?
I have no idea.
What do you think?
I have no idea.
It's 21, 22. Okay.
Okay, but if you end up in the top 15, then it's consistent with Dabo is normally.
Right.
And look, we've got people. Look, after this Louisville loss, there's going to be even more. There's going to be a lot of transfers. Okay, just be honest. Let's be honest. There's going to be a ton of transfers. They're going to get the hell out because they don't trust the damn coaching staff. And we're not going to be able to get high school recruits to commit. And they're decommitting at a rate that is unheard of in the last 8 years.
Well, you're talking
No, they're
about
not.
you're talking about firing
Yes, they
offensive.
are.
You're talking about firing offensive coaches. Meanwhile, isn't Clemson still a top 10 offense nationally?
Yeah.
I mean, they were like 7 going into the Louisville game.
I mean,
Yes.
they may have dropped a couple spots, but I mean that's something that's fluid through the year.
Well, you lost
They were before the Louisville game. That's a fact.
Well, no, I'm saying they're not now.
Well, I don't know where they're ranked, but they couldn't have dropped that
Okay.
much off of one game. They still had
You're
4.
not going to. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to drop out of the top 20 off of one.
Yeah, I mean, they
loss.
still had 450 yards of
Top
offense,
20, top 10.
even in the loss. That's what. I'm not a stat guy, but there is some truth to some of these stats. They outperformed Louisville every single category that matters offensively. Every one.
Except winning.
I know.
Yeah, except for the points on the board. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's the most important one. So I don't know why everybody else gets worked up about stats, but here's the thing.
Well, my point is the
they're
offense isn't.
losing
My point is, Paul, is that the
recruits
offense is not the
at a
problem with this team. It hasn't been all year.
No, Hufferbilly, that's just not true. Yes, you lost a corner decommitted last week,
No, we
but
lost
literally,
6.
hang on. But literally 3 hours later, a 4-star safety committed and an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, okay, you're not the top recruiting class in the ACC, but I think a lot of Clemson fans would probably expect that with Mario Cristobal coming into the conference. Because what do we all know about Mario Cristobal?
Well, he's an elite
Maybe
recruiter.
his coach.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why he got the job.
I'm not trying to say they're ACC. I'm talking about overall.
You sound like a Gamecock fan right now because, again, going back to Slim's point, under Dabo Swinney, they averaged barely in the top 15, and they won 2 national titles with that same recruiting class. So I don't know where they're falling off at.
My only point is there's multiple problems. There's not just the coaching issue. There's recruiting. Okay? I feel like we don't engage in buying players like we should. We should be buying them at high.
Well, they
rate.
absolutely are. Pete talked about it. You had
Yeah.
hang on. You had a corner that wanted to leave, said he wanted more money, and Dabo got him more money.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is they're not using the money to buy new players. They're using the money to keep people.
Well, that's going to change when this whole new rule changes about the $20 million deal.
Well, yeah, but right now we're getting killed.
Well, what they're getting killed in is they can't land a transfer portal recruit because they won't engage in outbidding other teams. I agree with you on that. But the idea that they're not paying players, of course they are.
Well, they're paying existing players. They're not even paying high school players.
What?
They won't go and tell a high school player, we'll promise you.
What are you talking about? DJ came in with over $1 million in NIL deals.
Yeah.
Who did?
DJ did.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Cade Klubnik has, I don't know if he's hit $1 million, but he's somewhere close to it
he's
with
got
all the NIL deals he's got.
Yeah. Now, they won't. Here's the difference, and this is directly from Dabo Swinney's mouth. He won't promise them any sort of amount of money or NIL deal until they commit and sign with Clemson. That's the difference between them and a Tennessee or, well, everybody. Hell, I guess.
Yeah. And listen, I actually agree with that.
Well, yeah, but here's the problem. The other people say, yes, we'll guarantee you that, and they switch.
I know. That's why every time they try to recruit a portal player, they end up going somewhere else. We lost an offensive lineman to Georgia Tech, a 4-star offensive lineman in the portal last offseason to Georgia Tech. You want to know why? Because he called up Dabo Swinney and says, hey, Georgia Tech is offering me X amount of dollars. Can you match it if I want to come to Clemson? He said no. He said, when you get here, we can talk about that, but I'm not promising you anything. And so he said, okay, fine.
But Pete, here's the issue. The dynamic in the ecosystem is if you don't start doing that, then you're not going to get.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just. It is what it is. You know, somebody called into Dabo's radio show on Sunday and, of course, said, "Do you think that the outcome with the Louisville game would have been different if you had used the portal?" Now, people keep asking him the same question over and over and over again and expecting a different answer for some reason. These people are retarded.
Not in this.
We
game.
all know where he stands on this
happen in
issue.
Every game going forward.
Well, yes, Belly. Hang on. Yes, it would have been different because here's the thing: if Dabo wasn't so dead set against the portal, he could have gone and gotten a guy like Cam Ward, who, by the way, is very Deshaun Watson-like, fits exactly what Dabo Swinney wants to do offensively, and Clemson would be humming along.
Yeah, but there is zero chance that he's going to bench Cade Klubnik for Cam Ward or anybody else.
Well, that's Dabo's fault.
Meanwhile, Cade Klubnik's having a good year. So, I mean,
he is, but coming into this year, he did not look good at all.
Okay, let me be clear.
And there were a lot of Clemson fans screaming for a portal quarterback.
No, I'm going to disagree. I don't think Cade Klubnik is having a good year.
What?
I think that Cade Klubnik is having a
What
better
are you talking about?
year. He's having a better year than last year. He does things, and I watched the game.
How many turnovers?
You realize, wait a minute. You realize that, hang on, by the numbers, Cade Klubnik would far and away be the best quarterback in the SEC right now if he was there.
Well, he should transfer. That would be the answer I'd give him, or the advice. He should move. But I don't think that's true, actually. But
Carson Beck is playing.
Where did y'all dig this fossil up from?
Carson Beck is having a terrible year. A terrible year. But guess what? Georgia keeps winning. Why is that?
Because they have a team.
Hmm.
The rest of
Imagine
Clemson
that.
doesn't. But at the same time, Cade has poor decision-making skills.
How many
his decision making is way better than Carson Beck's.
Paul, how many turnovers does Cade Klubnik have this year? Do you know?
It's less than 4, I think.
Yeah,
or
3.
4. Yeah.
3. And we're in week. What week is this? 12, 11?
11.
3. What poor decisions is he making?
Not passing the ball downfield.
But he's got like fucking 10 plays over 50 yards passing.
He didn't last week.
We're talking about the whole season, not last week. Last week was a disaster. I'll give you that. By the way, he didn't turn the ball over in that game either.
Yeah, and guess what? Cam Ward leads. Hang on. Cam Ward leads the country.
Listen to me. You can do all those things to mitigate having negative plays, right? I need you to make big plays.
Okay, and Cam Ward leads the country as far as quarterbacks with big plays, and he didn't have any against Florida State. So does that make him bad?
Who do you say it again, Slim?
He didn't have any. Cam Ward leads the country in big plays, 20-plus yard plays. He didn't have any against Florida State.
I just don't understand Paul's point. Is there a lot of problems with Clemson's team right now? Yes. Is Cade Klubnik one of them? No.
No,
That's
I'm
it.
not saying K's the problem.
But you're saying he should transfer out.
Yeah, you just said he's terrible.
Offense is the problem.
No.
Well, they are.
Top 10 offense nationally, not even in the top 50 defensively, Paul.
You know what? Actually, I will just a slight bit agree with Paul. Because last year, Cade Klubnik at least had the balls to go, okay, this is a dumb play. I'm checking out of it into something else. And he should have done that more this year when they're trying to pass the fucking ball on the 3-yard line like Pete Carroll in the Super Bowl.
No, I disagree.
Well,
I disagree that he should go against the play call.
I do not agree.
Well, no, yes, he absolutely should have handed that fucking ball off to Maffa to begin with.
I don't agree, Pete. I think that the offense is part of the problem. I really do, and I think that the defense is the biggest problem. I'm not saying I'm saying offense is the whole problem. I'm saying it's a 1-2 punch. The offense doesn't get in the red zone and then score. They just don't.
They were 2 for 2 in the red zone last week, Paul.
They did not.
Yes.
They kicked field goals that were blocked.
I'm talking about when they're going for a touch. Yeah, field goals are different. That doesn't even enter into what stat you're talking about.
Go for the damn touchdown.
And by the way, while we're on that subject too, talk about the special teams is even worse than the defense.
Oh, it's
they're a complete disaster.
one. Special teams is number one. Defense is number two. Offense is number three.
I don't think I could count on one hand the amount of out of 133 FBS teams. I don't think I could count on one hand how many special teams are worse than Clemson's.
No, they're not. We're at the bottom.
At the bottom.
We suck.
Well, and that's kind of been a thing, like, you know, people say all the time, like with Cam Ward, you have to take the good with the bad. That's kind of been part of Dabo's Achilles heel forever. Like, he likes to get cute too much on special teams, and it's made Clemson special teams look bad for a long time.
I agree.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Because you remember, I mean, you were streaming the game, so I'm sure you do. When he tried,
don't even
get cute.
Don't
even start, dude.
That was against South Carolina when we lost a couple years ago. That was the worst special teams play call I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know how somebody sat in a room and drew that shit up and thought it was a good idea. I can't imagine.
I'm telling you, I had to repair my house after that. That one play fucking made me throw my fist.
And they were winning.
They got it and hit it.
What makes it worse is they were winning when they did that. They weren't even losing. It wasn't like they were trying to do some trick shit to get back in the game. That was, oh my God, I'm getting triggered now.
But, and guess what? I mean, how many games did special teams cost Alabama? So Dabo's far from the only coach that's had problems with special teams.
No, Alabama beat us in the first national championship we should have won in 2015 to 2016.
Yes, but Nick Saban absolutely
won that game.
Okay, but Nick Saban absolutely lost at least 4 games I can think of off the top of my head off of either bad kicking or just bad special teams in general.
I'm not even asking. I'm not asking.
I think I may need to take a pill after this.
I'm not asking for the best special teams in the country, but at least be somewhat competent.
Right.
That's not too much to ask for when you're paying a guy $11 million a year to hire a competent special teams coordinator.
Just be normal. Don't be stupid. I mean, we got stupid people in charge. I mean, this is ridiculous. But anyway, I know. I look.
Well, I still think the nepotism on the coaching staff is one of the biggest problems.
Yeah,
because didn't he try getting Sammy Watkins in the offseason?
Oh, no, he's still trying to.
Like I get Sammy Watkins is probably a great guy, was a great player, but what has he done in his life to make you think that he's a great coach? Yeah,
but I don't know. So, well, nothing. The Sammy Watkins thing is a different story, but I think CJ Spiller is a good running backs coach. I think that Nick Eason is one of the best defensive line coaches in the country. Those are both former Clemson players. I think Mike Reed.
What do you think about Rump?
Well, the defensive end position has been a disaster this year. I mean, they've got a guy who's a defensive tackle playing defensive end. I'm talking about Peter Woods.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, shouldn't be doing that.
That's a roster problem.
Yeah, that is. And listen, I'm not against hiring former players if they have the credentials. Like, I mean, you know, we've got Jason Taylor as our DN's coach, but Jason Taylor has a resume to go off of that says, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, because he worked his way up through high school into college and then earned his spot as a college coach.
Now, the fact that one of Dabo Swinney's sons, I guess his oldest son, Dabo Jr., I guess, or William Christopher Swinney Jr.
Couldn't vote.
He is he's an offensive analyst for Clemson, which...
No!
Well, I mean, an analyst spot, I don't really have really much of a problem
with. But you know what's next, though? I mean, it starts with analyst position, and before you know it, he's on the sideline with a fucking headset on.
Yeah, now what's going to follow, I agree with you. But listen, if he remains in a closet staring at game film, I don't have a problem with somebody giving their kid a job.
No, absolutely not. I disagree 1,000%.
No, I don't, because you can have as many analysts as you want.
Listen, man. Look. Look. We're trying to figure out how to win. I don't need to pad the schedule with people who need a job. Period. Fuck them.
Well, there's no limit. There's no limit to coaches now. So Dabo can open up the proverbial checkbook and hire all kinds of. I mean,
no.
Look,
he can literally hire 200 analysts. If he
how many?
Like so I don't really care about an analyst.
I don't know the
real analyst, not your goddamn kid.
I don't know the answer to this question. Somebody might know, or they could look it up. Who has more coaches on their staff, Georgia or Clemson?
I have no clue.
I'm almost positive it's Georgia. Almost positive.
I mean, technically, Will Muschamp is an analyst. Technically.
Yeah, well, I'm including analysts in that too, not just on the field guys. Just the coaching staff as a whole.
Listen to me.
Well, I know that number's that's something else that's fixing to change. That number is fixing to go up. The amount of coaches you're allowed to have.
Yeah. Well,
listen, the amount of fat to cut to get to the real people. The actual people.
You want to cut the fat. I want to cut the head off the snake. I want to cut the head off the snake. Wes Goodwin.
Yeah.
There you go.
Get rid of all this.
Well, okay. Now that being, don't just give us a solution. Who do you hire?
It's like I mentioned. I don't know who you hire. You're Clemson. You can go out and have the pick of the litter. I mean, we're not fucking Wofford.
60 people.
Well, no, but PigskinPeete is making the hire. Who does PigskinPeete hire?
Will Muschamp.
I would do that.
Are you gonna get him out of his alma mater though? That's a hard thing.
I mean, he's just an analyst, isn't he?
Yeah, but one of his sons is still there.
When does Jackson Muschamp graduate?
I don't know. Hell, if he's on the Stetson Bennett plan, never.
Next year.
Muschamp's not looking to be a DC. What is he looking to be, a head coach?
Like I don't think Chip Kelly wants to be a head coach anymore.
I don't know why Clemson doesn't get serious about who you got on the staff. That's amazing to me. It makes me so mad sometimes because I think it's like you were saying. We'll whatever, I don't know, Dabo or, all the Sweeney people, they have to stop putting their kids in the middle of all this.
Well, listen, that happens everywhere. Mike Bobo's son is on the roster at Georgia.
Yeah, and so is Will Muschamp's son.
Yeah.
They're saying that he doesn't want to coach anymore. That's why he stepped away. They all say that until they don't. I mean, it's hard to. If Clemson says, "Hey, we're Muschamp, we want you to interview for the job for defensive coordinator at Clemson. We're going to pay you $4.5 million a year." How much is he making at Georgia? 38. I don't think you're allowed to make more than $35,000 a year as an analyst. I think it's a rule.
Yeah. Well, I think South Carolina's still paying him.
Oh. Well, even if it's not,
that's probably why. That may be why he's an analyst, because he's still collecting a check from South Carolina.
All right, forget Muschamp then for a second. So if that's a no-go, there's another at least 10 people that are a better choice than what we got now. That's all I'm saying.
It's what do you call? I say this out loud. It's an unenviable position to be in if you're Clemson. You don't want to be here.
Who's the DC? Because I mean, if Ryan Day gets his walking papers, who's the DC at Ohio State? He was at TCU before Sonny Dykes. Oh Jesus! Everybody praised Ryan Day for hiring him too. I can't think of his name now.
I can't think of his name either. Where's my Ohio State people? Jim Knowles.
Yeah, he's a really good. He was the only semblance of a defense in the Big 12 when he was there.
Mm.
And Ohio State's defense is not bad. Oregon's a very high-powered offense, and I mean both those defenses kept those offenses in check.
Yeah, they're not awful. They're pretty good.
I like him. Especially, like I said, if Ryan Day gets his walking papers, like some Ohio State fans want, I'd hire him in a heartbeat. I think he's a great DC.
We missed it by a year. I would have loved to have that Cuban that's coaching Duke right now as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Manny Diaz, great defensive coordinator. Now, granted, a lot of Miami fans will disagree with you on that, but
well, they disagree with anything anybody ever says.
this is true, including me.
I know.
Slim disagrees. When did that happen?
No, they disagree with him.
Yeah, they disagree with me. See, mine is that rare genius that won't be fully appreciated until long after I'm gone.
Well, he did. Okay. I'll give Slim credit for this because, as long as I've known Slim and he's been on these shows, he's never really hyped up Miami. Well, certainly not to the level that most Miami fans do. But he did say at the beginning of this year, he said, look, Miami's going to win the ACC this year. And I've never heard him say that before. And it looks like he's going to be right. Now, there's still a lot of ball to be played, but I think he's right about that. I'll give you credit for that because I didn't think so.
Well, listen, I sat down and watched a bunch of film on Cam Ward, and I saw the improvements. See, that's where things like stats are useful. And I get Miami had its problems last year, but even with the offensive problems we had last year, hiring Shannon Dawson, that offense improved. In total offense, they improved over 30 spots from Mario's first year to second year. So then you add in a dynamic playmaker like Cam Ward. Yes, I was very optimistic. And Cam Ward's playing even better than I thought he would. I did not expect him to be this good.
Well, you've got.
I think that Miami, the Cristobal's done a good job. He did a roster thing. He made the roster right. And he's got.
Well, they've got one of the most talented offensive rosters in the country, if not the. I mean, they're right up there with Ohio State as far as talent level offensively.
Yeah. He's good.
Well, and I think he did it the right way too. I think you have to start in the trenches. And his first two recruiting classes, that's where he focused, was the offensive and defensive lines.
But why does your defense suck?
Our defense is not as bad as people are trying to make it out. Do you realize that's still a top 20 defense in the nation?
All right. If you want, statistically, but
it has its problems. But did I or did I not say the weakness of the defense in the offseason was the secondary?
Yeah, the back end. Yep.
I'm sorry, Jared. I didn't even realize you were back there till just now. Sorry.
Yeah, you don't lose to an All-American and borderline All-American safety in the same year, and your defense back into your defense not take a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Clemson's good. I think Clemson's going to be on a downward slope for a little while until they find some coaches both on offense and on defense and work on the transfer portal.
Well,
that's just what it is.
Here's my thing offensively with Clemson. I actually think Garrett Riley can do pretty good because I don't think he's bad at all. But I think what Garrett Riley is going to have to do, and it takes time to get to the point to be able to do this, is exactly what Brent Venables did, is tell Dabo to mind your fucking business.
Yep. And it's not just mind your business. Make play calls that give you a chance to win.
Let the man do what you hired him to. Listen, Todd Monken had to do the same thing at Georgia. He had to tell Kirby to mind your fucking business. I know what I'm doing. You go worry about the defense or something.
Yeah, because that quarterback battle, I believe he was going to start Stetson. He was going to start Carson Beck, and I think Todd Monken said, "Hey, buddy, this is who we're going to start."
See, the difference between Kirby Smart and Dabo Swinney, though, is that Dabo does the same thing as far as the defense is concerned at Clemson. He doesn't have his hands in it. He's not a defensive guy. Kirby Smart is a defensive guy, so it's easier for him to give the reins over to Monken than it is for Dabo to give the reins over to Riley. I don't even know. There's still a debate about how much of his hands are actually in the offense, Dabo. Nobody really knows.
Right.
I have no idea.
I still seen a lot of similarities between offense pre-Garrett Riley and post-Garrett Riley. So that makes me think that Dabo has a heavy influence on the offense. Now, I get your point that Dabo, he was a wide receiver coach, so he's going to want, but I get it. But Mario had a lot of the same problem. He wanted to micromanage. He wanted to get all in the middle of shit. And to his credit, he has stepped back because there have been, and a lot of Miami fans have pointed this out, that there have been pictures taken all season where Mario, yes, he's near the huddle, when Shannon Dawson, whenever they take a timeout or whatever, and Shannon Dawson's sitting there talking to the offense, but Mario's not in the middle of it like he used to be.
Yeah.
Mario has taken a step back, and he's letting his coordinators coordinate.
Yeah, because he fucked up when he tried to make too many calls. Like one game, it was that infamous timeout for the 2-minute warning or 1 minute to go or something like that, and he fucked up, and he knew he fucked up.
Now this is an interesting comment here by Cody Hankins in the chat. It says Clemson will never make the playoffs. I don't know if you're talking about this year. I agree, but he says Clemson will watch Alabama make the playoff. I'm predicting a Pop-Tart Bowl between Clemson and Alabama. What do you think about that?
I don't know, because LSU, it's up in the air for LSU, just like it's up in the air for Alabama. LSU, I know they're good on the road. Not Alabama. LSU is good at home, and Alabama struggles on the road.
Wait a second. Is Hucker really Paul snoring?
Yes.
Oh, good Lord.
He's asleep.
Shh. LSU.
Holy shit.
We tuckered the old timer out.
I wish I could fall asleep that fast. He was just talking like 2 seconds ago. Now he's asleep.
I was going to say,
logs, ain't he?
I was going to say LSU would have the advantage, but given that they got the loss to Texas A&M and the way that South Carolina just dog walked Texas A&M, it makes me think that maybe LSU might not be as good. They beat Ole Miss. I'll give them credit. They beat Ole Miss. But, I'm still concerned. Good God.
Listen, this is the funniest thing. I just put it on the screen because on StreamYard, whenever somebody talks, there's like you can see that they're making noise.
Oh, yeah. Is he old? How old is he, guy?
Look, he's all tuckered out. He was up till 4 o'clock in the morning celebrating the big Trump win.
Dude, I got rest when I watched it. I stayed up for about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I went to bed and woke up to Tom win.
I'm so glad Pete doesn't delete live streams. This will live forever.
Oh, I can't wait. Should I call him?
Yeah, you can call him.
Call him.
Should I call him?
Yeah, yes. Wake him up. All
right. I don't think he can talk on the phone because he's probably on the phone on StreamYard, though.
Well, yeah, maybe. God.
He's got sleep apnea. I probably got it too.
Well, no, just because you snore doesn't mean you have sleep apnea. Jesus. Fucking lumberjack Paul over here.
My dog's wondering what that sound is. What is it, Ellie? It's got my dog all riled up, trying to figure out what it is.
I think it's a grizzly bear growling at him.
I need to make this my ringtone.
If this isn't a stinger by 3 p.m. Eastern time,
I'm definitely
very disappointed.
I'm definitely making this a stinger. All right. I actually do have to go, as fun as this is, because I've got to go fix my electricity. Does anybody, I gotta mute him. I can't even talk. Has anybody ever changed out a circuit breaker before?
No, we got somebody that does that for us. We got an electrician, a family friend that can do that.
Yeah.
I have a single breaker. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, it's not hard, is it?
Not particularly. Just make sure you turn off the main.
Oh, so I don't kill myself? Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. You don't want to see white light. That would suck.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. No.
Have you ever changed out a socket?
Yeah. Same difference, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much same difference. Like I said, just turn off your main and you're good.
Michael is an electrician. Well, the good news is I have a friend who's an electrician. I'm gonna call him. He's gonna tell me what to do. So I should. Well, if you don't hear from me, then I guess I didn't make it. But I should be fine.
Who got for LSU in Alabama?
Huh?
I think you'll manage.
Who you got for LSU in Alabama, Pete?
I went back and forth on that. Originally, I picked LSU. With the points at +3, just because they're at home. I think that LSU and Alabama are pretty evenly matched teams, and so I'm going with the home team. But my level of confidence on that is, Brian Kelly doesn't win those type of games typically, so.
But he has been Alabama since he's been at LSU. And
especially and at home too. At home he has.
Yeah, and I think Nussmeier's a better quarterback than what's his face? Anyway.
Listen, Alabama lost to Vandy. That's all I need to know.
Well, there is that too.
Who else did they lose to? They lost to somebody else.
I don't know.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah. Gun to my head though, if I had to pick right now, I'm taking LSU in a close one. But I'm not going to even.
Yeah, it's just a hard tell given that they lost to old Texas A&M. It's just, if they wouldn't have lost to Texas A&M, I would have said LSU would definitely take the points or whatever. But I just don't know because they lost to Texas A&M.
Interesting take there, Paul.
Yeah, Paul, what do you think? Who are you taking, LSU or Alabama? Oh, that's interesting. If you had to pick a new defensive coordinator for Clemson, who would it be, Paul? I don't know. I don't think I like that pick.
Oh, I could entertain myself for hours with that.
Hey, Paul, what's the first thing Trump's going to do when he gets in office in January?
Now, see, that I absolutely agree with. That probably will be Trump's first act when he gets in office.
I'm still so nervous for Trump, though.
Hey, Lou, he said he was up till 4 o'clock in the morning, which I call bullshit on. I don't think he ever went to sleep, to be honest with you. Which is why he's sleeping now. And the funny thing was, we were in the middle of a conversation. I mean, he was having a conversation with us, and literally 6 seconds later, he's snoring. I mean, he fell. So, hey, can Jay go do a wellness check on Paul? Where's Jay at?
Yeah, because I think there's rain headed that way, so he's in the wheelbarrow. Somebody needs to get him under cover.
Oh no, he might get wet.
Soggy Paul.
Oh man.
Well, he seems excited.
I think he needs. What's that machine that you wear to help you breathe when you're sleeping?
Oh, a CPAP?
Oh, yeah. I think he needs one of those. Sounds like he's struggling.
They got one of those where you don't even have to use the thing, where it's looks like a ventilation system. They got one where you just clip your nose and you don't have to even use anything. It's like just clip your nose. That's it.
you know, with all these GoFundMe's going on, we might need to do a GoFundMe to get Paul a CPAP for Christmas.
Oh, I got $20 towards it.
All right. Boy, who's he rooming with on the cruise?
I don't know, but God, I feel bad for him.
Damn. Feel bad for Jay.
You mean that makes me? God, all of a sudden I feel bad for Robin now.
All right, I really do have to go because I gotta get this electricity fixed before I go pick up my son from school. So, all right, thank you, Paul. Good night, buddy.
Nighty night, Paul.
All right, thank you for coming on, Jarrett.
Yeah.
All right, Slim. Great as usual.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you all for a very interesting show today. Some feelings got hurt. Some people got yelled at. But at the end of the day, we're all alive still. That's all that matters. I'll be back at 10 o'clock tonight for the call-in show. Make sure you tune into that. Everyone have a great rest of your Wednesday.